Welcome and well met to travelers both new and old. It is I, Underwood, your tour guide to the Forgotten Realms. And when speaking of the realms, where better to start than that highest of lands of intrigue, Amn, a country on the Sword Coast, bordered by the great ocean and mountains to its north and south, a country of nearly 3 million people, majority humans, but with a decent minority of halflings as well. A country with an old history that stretches back to giant kings and elves and such things before the coming of men to this coast. At least that is the telling of other races. The Amnians, as they call themselves, are a people obsessed with excess. That's something we may well be able to identify with quite easily. And they are greedy and opulent and excellent in their execution of such things, the wondrous showing of wealth from necklaces of tremendous garish designs and dresses of fashion, and the fashion there changes with the tides, so quickly does it move and swirl and undulate from one form to another. And that holds true from the goods, services, and individuals that are in favor to the hairstyles and even to the gods to which one prays. Yes, it is odd to think that such a high, important, and supposedly pious practice should be dictated by popularity, by fashion, but it is there in those lands still. There are some gods well worth mentioning in this land of intrigue, some that do hold the tide back and from year to year acquire much veneration, those being Suni, the Lady of Beauty, Joachim, the goddess of trade, Bane, the tyrannical hand of tyranny and order, Shantea, the goddess of the harvest, Seluna, the goddess of the moon, and even now in coming recent years, Sirik, the god of lies, illusion, deception, and trickery. In his vulgarity, he is becoming oh so popular amongst the Amnian elite, particularly in the southern areas where many of these decadents, these rich, spoiled children, have gone and even conspired against their own country and teaming up with giants, Oni, ogre magi, towering 15 feet tall, under the banner of Sophilus and his monstrous army, which he calls the Sophilius Empire, and they have taken over Moran, a southern port city, an alchemist guild inside, and they have choked it out and kept human prisoners from their mountain range home. An army of Oni and ogres and hill giants and goblins and hobgoblins and kobolds and orcs and all manner of foul, horrendous things that belch towards the sky, claiming that they have right, they have purpose, they have reason and ownership to this land, for they say it was once owned and controlled by giants, and it is humans who are the interlopers and intruders and should be pushed back, and giants shall have their due, and indeed they do at this time, under the great King Lord Sophilus, in what has become his southern empire. Now, the capital city, with well over 100,000 people, Athkatla, sits on the water and houses dozens of various temples to different gods, and those come and go with the selling of so many wares, the hawkers, the tremendous business that is done on an hourly basis there. They are industrious people. While some may look at them as foppish and sloppy and lazy and fat, they are not these things. They are smart, cunning, shrewd, thrifty, and above all else, hard working. They do such things to prove their strength and their merit. They are people that believe marriage is something to be had at an early age, and if by the age of 21 is not wed, well, there's clearly something wrong with you and your blood, your stock, your family, and that is quite an outcast, bastardist position to be in this society, where matrimony, like everything else, is an acquisition, and you must acquire what is yours by the due time, or perhaps be looked down on, and they will thumb their nose at both outsiders and insiders alike, because in this society, one is what one has, and it is good to bring such strength of character and position into display. Speaking of what they have something that is so rare within the realm, such a place of wonder, but yet rare all the same, and that is connection to a far, nearly mythic land, way off to the edge of the world, far, far to the west, a land called Mazteca, a land of gold and spices and strange leaves and odd humans, a land of great excessive wealth that is being plumbed and plundered by the Amnians, by the boatload being brought back, and all the more problem it is to have Sothelis there in the south controlling one of their major ports. Well, that is impossible to penetrate, seeing as Sothelis has made numerous allies with rogue scum, pirates, even those of human stock, to keep back that port, to keep it from good individuals being able to retake the city. And they do try. The warriors of Selûne and Helm, with armies of the citizens, march on that southern place, but it is such a difficult balance to try to maintain your place, your position, your strength, and the whole time retake what has been taken from you in that southern city of Moran. This entire place, though, is controlled. Well, once it was ruled by a king, but now it is shadowy in the way and that they handle business, ruled by an unknown, unnamed council. 6 members. 6 members sit upon this council, and they are not known to the people. This is something that would give me quite disquiet if I was an Omni. Unfortunately, I am not, and neither are you, so we can speak quite bluntly about them and their positions. It is even said that the rulers of this place have ties to the Shadow Thieves, a gang of assassins and murderers. They would call themselves a guild, but they're nothing but a gang of ill-tempered former Waterhavians banished into the south and taking up cut-pursing and murdering. And that's all a foul shadow-struck assassin is a murderer, a common derelict of the street, and it takes no great skill to drag a dagger across a man's throat. And it's not so hard to get away when you have political strings already pulled in your favor. And that is just the way of it on this highest land of intrigue upon the Sword Coast. But think not that if you are a traveling wizard your spells will avail you, for the cowled wizards there have strict rules governing the use of magic, for in their past magic has been used many times, most unfortunately, and the cowled wizards themselves wish to covet and constrict that, taking into their own hands more strength and power, so that they may show that wealth in the form of magical supremacy and pushing all challengers to the wayside. This is a difficult land to survive in, but if you have the merit and strength and fortitude, the personal power and strength of character in this land, you can make mountains upon mountains of gold as a trader of various varieties. And a swift sword arm, a strong mind, and a shrewd negotiating tact will get you everywhere in this country, as these people are not held down by an aristocracy, but able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and make mountains of money. For while old blood is always preferred in this land of Alm, gold is king. And to that, and to you, I say, good business.